But now you have two sons who are, their home is your home for the lifetime now.
Yep.
We sort of have a rule, a way that Beth and I lived, and it's like we're careful not to say no to the opportunities that God puts in front of us. And our first son, who's our oldest, a friend of ours called out of the blue and said, I work with an organization that does orphan hosting, and there's this 15-year-old boy. He's been recommended for the program for several years, but no one has ever chose to host him because he's not eligible for adoption. He has a mother who's disabled, who's still living. He's in the orphanage. So she said, it would be just like having another exchange student for 5 weeks. Would you take him?
Yeah.
And
From the Ukraine.
From Ukraine, yeah. A boy from Ukraine. So about 6 years ago, Anton came into our lives, and it seems like right away he didn't call us Tom or Beth. He just called us Mom and Dad. Mm-hmm. And at the end of that first year that he was with us, we were told that we could have him back in the summer for a longer time, and we were able to do that. And and I think it was sometime during that summer he brought up the words about adopting him, and we tried to explain that we were told that you can't, and then you're going to hit a certain age and you can't start adoption proceedings in Ukraine. But then we were able to have one more Christmas with him, and when he turned 17, he's out of the orphanage.
Right. I mean, he aged out.
He aged out. And so we're, at that point, we've committed to financially supporting him. We wanted to make sure that he was not going to be homeless. That's the sad reality of a lot of orphans in Ukraine, is they become homeless. And he got into college, and we're supporting him. And then, lo and behold, a war breaks out. And so 2 years ago, he hiked out of Ukraine. And through our network of exchange students, it was our exchange students who engineered a way to get him out of a war zone into Romania, into Hungary, which I went and picked him up in Hungary, moved him with another exchange student in Germany, and then he was able to enter America on a humanitarian parole through Mexico. And it was this beautiful way that the body of Christ got him out. With our other son, Lemba.
Can I add something with Anton? Just so that our viewers know, we kind of take for granted, but he's here, he's safe with your family, and he's now a full-time college student here locally at Marian University, studying playing soccer on the soccer team, and just thriving. Such a great young man, and so the goodness of your love for him and his love for you, and I think just sharing the love of Christ. He sensed that right away of you, and wanted to spend more time with his mom and dad.
And Lemba was brought here by a sports agent who was going to manage his basketball career through college and possibly into the NBA. And he got abandoned at the house of the basketball coach, who didn't know what to do with a foreign exchange student, so he called us and said, hey, could you take care of him? And then when we found out how Lemba was being treated by this sports agent, and he didn't have a regular place to sleep, he wasn't sure where he was going to eat his meals, and he just didn't have the basic security of food, shelter, and transportation to and from school that a student needs to do well. We stepped in, and then with his situation, to send him back to Congo, which, the Congo is in war. Even the city that he lives in is run by various gangs. And it is a common occurrence where he lives that, people just steal things out of your house. They don't lock the door, because if the gang wants to come in and steal things out of your home, why lock a door and have them break a door? Just let them come in
and correct me if I'm wrong, but Limba's father is not in the picture, wasn't alive?
He wasn't in the picture at the time, but he's since passed away.
He's
since passed away, yeah.
Yeah,
And
his mom's still in Congo.
yeah, and she was very supportive of your interaction with him and support of him.
Oh, yeah.
Because just knowing the alternative back there was so bleak that to be in a good, secure, and faithful home here, a Catholic family. He grew up Catholic. Limba did. Yep. And so she was kind of.
So she actually consented for us to get guardianship of him and keep him here. And so now he's running track at Purdue.
Look at that! So he's your second son, and he's a Purdue student. Go Boilermakers, my alma mater, and he's running track, doing quite well.
Yeah.
He's going to be quite a star up there, I think. And what a beautiful stories of how sometimes we forget that their family forms in many different ways in people's lives. And sometimes it's biological, and sometimes it comes in other forms. In this case, I think it's a spiritual family that formed, that the love of Christ exuding out into the world from the Eucharist, from our faith, and embracing. Here's two boys from different parts of the world that experience God's love through you, and now are forever part of your inner circle.